What's happening, y'all? This is Mock and Jewel. Welcome to Good Morning Ifa. I'm gonna play a little ego music to get us going while people come in before we start with the libation. So, if you're coming in, please announce yourself. Let me know you're here. All right, and we'll get started from there. But until then, enjoy a couple of this little quick tune. All right. My old school heads know what this is. Play a little ego music as we get started, alright? Me, myself, and I.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me, mirror, what is wrong? Can it be my daylight clothes or is it just my daylight song? What I do ain't make-believe. People say I sit and try.
How's
But when
everybody
it comes
doing?
to being daylight, it's just me, myself, and I.
What's up, Papa John?
It's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. Now you tease my plug one style and my plug one spectrum code. You say plug one and two are hippies nowhere. Now that's pure plug bull. Always pushing that we formed an image. There's no need to lie. When it comes to being plug one, it's just me, myself, and I.
Yeah, man, y'all can play a little me, myself, and I ego
It's just
music.
me, myself, and I.
I'm putting that record player on top of the drum. That's what my goal is.
It's just me, myself, and I.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Good Morning E5. Welcome to Good Morning E5. We're about to get into it.
Omi tutu,
About to jump right in it.
ona tutu,
Y'all know what it is.
tutu lawoye. Kosiku,
Y'all know what it is. I gotta play this song here. We're gonna do this libation real quick.
kosi idina,
And
kosi.
then we're gonna go in.
I call upon the power and spirits of my maternal ancestors. I call upon the power and spirits of my paternal ancestors.
Hello, Lashante, session.
For I am spirit of your spirit, blood of your blood, bones of your bones, flesh of your flesh. I call upon you to come forward to hear my prayers and requests.
Yeah.
Bless me. Lead me on my destiny.
Welcome to Good Morning E5. Stay tuned. You're gonna dig this one. Want to miss this one.
Be at peace and good character. Ebound, Aloysius. Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Malcolm X.
What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning, E5. Good morning to everybody watching. Good morning to everybody out there in Facebook land. I am Mock and Jewel, and this is Good Morning E5. So, that was Libations, a song I created about a year ago. If you like the song, please go to indigenousrhythms.com and you can download it there along with other things. Other music, t-shirts, all these things. If you want to support Good Morning E5, please go there and cop it. All right. Again, this is Good Morning E5. You know how we always start. We start with a prayer. So let's get into the prayer, and then we'll get into the rest of this message for today. So please, if you want to, sit on the floor and bow your head to the ground. If you want to just sit in the chair where you are and just bow your head, do whatever you do. Let's be at peace with it, though. As we go into this prayer, greetings this morning. Olodumare, Ifa, Ole Rumile, Ole Gungun. It is Jasir Makanju Allah coming to you today on behalf of this Good Morning Ifa service. We pray that this message is received. We pray this morning that you work through me and deliver the message that you want me to distribute to the people listening. I pray that my ego does not get involved, and it is called Debo your ego. How fitting, right? I pray that my ego does not get involved, and I just speak the truth as it comes to my tongue. I pray that it doesn't offend anyone, but if it does, I pray that they can receive it and go within themselves to debo their own ego to see why they can't even receive the message that I'm delivering. Ashe, I pray that this sermon or this service goes well. I pray that it is received. I pray that Good Morning Ifa grows and more people begin to watch it and hear it. I pray that people in Nigeria and America can work together within Ifa and bring a change within this world that we know we all need to see. I pray this day, I pray that this day I find the people listening to this service in the ray of life. Ayeku, Ajay, Aya, Oko, Omo, Ishegun. I pray that no Ayewo will affect this day and no Ayewo will affect this service. I give thanks and praise. I say, Ashizzle, Ashe, Good Morning Ifa. All right, now, I got that off the table. Again, I am Makanjula. I want to say hello to everybody, so you might get a bunch of waves from me as you come in. And feel free to let me know who you are and where you're from as you do come in. But until then, let's go. Again, I am Makanjula. This is Good Morning Ifa. Good Morning Ifa is Ifa interpreted through the experiences of an African in America. An African in America. Our experiences, to me, are different than people on the continent. So the way we experience these old dudes may be a little bit different than it may be experienced over there. So that's why I say Ifa is Ifa interpreted through the experiences of an African in America. And we're here every second and fourth Sunday of the month, even though this one was really challenging. Very challenging. I got really close to not doing this one today, but I fought through it. I made it through. I'm committed to it. I got it done. So, again, welcome to this Sunday service of Good Morning Ifa. So please, if you haven't already, go to the Good Morning Ifa page, like it, and then go to the YouTube page and subscribe. All right, so you can stay in the know when we upload new videos, when things are coming out, because eventually I'm going to migrate all the services that I do to the Good Morning Ifa page solely. All right, I'm just trying to build it up until I get there. I'm trying to get to about 500 likes on the page, and then I'll start doing it there. All right, so please, if you haven't, join that page over there and subscribe to the Good Morning Ifa page on YouTube. All right, so again, one more time, I am Makanju Allah. I was trained by Ifa Iraro of Oturatuka, Los Angeles, who was trained by Chief Popola of Nigeria. And I'm going to be talking about a book that Chief Popola has written today. I'm going to get a lot of inserts from the book that he's written. It's called Omoluwabi. And you can get his book at ifaworks.org at the end if you like what I have to say. But at the end of the day, this message is coming from Chief Popola's book, Omoluwabi. All right? Now, a few announcements. First and foremost, my partner out of New York, my girl, she's dope. Her name is Ifa Shewa Fatoyan. And she teaches an Oshe Ifa class out in Brooklyn, New York, every other Sunday also. So she's doing it again today at Bailey's Cafe. At Bailey's Cafe. All right? That's at 324 Malcolm X Boulevard in Brooklyn, New York. So If y'all out there in New York and y'all watching me here in New York, try to migrate on over there about 3 o'clock and check her out. She usually has a full house, so try to get there early as possible because she has a really good position and the way she delivers her message. I love the way she delivers her message. It's very nurturing, it's very warm, it's very friendly. All right, so check her out, y'all. Today at 3 over at Bailey's Cafe. Now, back to one more announcement. The big announcement is, again, I announced it on the last service. We're doing a live Good Morning Ifa in Leimert Park here in LA area. So if you want to attend that Good Morning Ifa live, you might need to get your tickets, because how it's going to work is those who get their tickets ahead of time, and the tickets are free. You don't have to pay for tickets. Okay, they're free. All you got to do is spend a few minutes of your day. Go to the page, get your ticket, download your ticket, and those who have their tickets will have preferred seating at that event. We at least need to know who's coming. That's all we're trying to do. We want to know who's coming so we know who to accommodate. So we're not bombarded by so many people and we can't accommodate them. We just want to know, make sure people that have subscribed will be accommodated. You will have preferred seating. All right? So the date is October 27th. It's going to be at 11 a.m. at the Hot and Cold Cafe in Leimert Park. The address is 4331 Degnan Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90008. Who will be speaking? Of course, me, Makanju Allah of Good Morning Ifa. Iyalode Ifa Shewa Fatuyan, who I just told you about in New York. She'll be there speaking. She'll be in LA that day. She'll be speaking. And Oluwo Ifa Kolade of Oturatuka, Los Angeles, will be speaking that day too. It's going to be a full house. We're going to have music by myself again, and we're going to have music by Sienna and my brother David Harris. He's going to be doing the drums. Sienna will be singing with us. It's going to be fun, and food will be supplied by Hot and Cold Cafe. Okay, so it'll be a good time. It's going to be good conversation afterwards. You can ask questions. You can do all that stuff afterwards. So again, if you're interested and you're in the LA area, get your ticket at indigenousrhythms.com. I didn't do Eventbrite this time because I'm trying to be Black Power and I'm trying to keep it within our own circle. We don't need Eventbrite when I can do it on my own website. Don't need Eventbrite when I can do it on my own website. Even Ryan, look at that, I'm emceeing in the service. So go to indigenousrhythms.com and get your copy. Get your ticket. It's simple. 2 minutes. It's free. You don't have to pay. We're putting on all this stuff and you ain't got to pay. Just get your ticket if you're going. All right? Enough said about that. Now, let's move on into the service. So today we're talking about Debo your ego. I know a lot of you guys found that flyer funny because you had Debo on the bike. I know y'all was like, this dude got Debo on an E5 flyer. Hey, I am trying to put that turntable that we scratch with over here on the West on top of that drum and bridge the gap here. Like I said, we in America experience Ifa a little different than people on the continent of Africa. So our experiences here are different. They're unique. And that's why I titled it Debo Your Ego. Hopefully it doesn't offend anybody, but if it does, I don't know what to tell you. I'm African in America. That's all I can tell you. So again, Debo your ego. Let's get into some things that's going to lay some foundations first. You know how I do. I like to lay the foundation before I start speaking about Odus and I lose people. So, ego. What is an ego? Well, according to dictionaries, ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. You know, King Kong. You know, rap music today. We'll get into some of those things in a minute. A person's self-esteem or self-importance. The ego of a person, basically, again, definitionally, says your ego is your conscious mind the part of your identity that you consider yourself. If you say someone has a big ego, then you are saying he is full of himself. Wow. That's a tall order. So you're saying if someone has an ego, they're full of themselves. But let's ask the true question. Where does the ego come from? I don't think babies have egos. I think we learn to have ego. Over the course of your life, ego slips in. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Now, I'm going to also have to define the word bully. Okay, because bully is going to be a big part of this. I had a hashtag going that said ego bully, hashtag ego bully, when I was marketing this particular sermon. So again, let's define bully. A person who habitually seeks to harm or intimidate those who they perceive as vulnerable. One more time. A person who habitually seeks to harm or to intimidate those whom they perceive as vulnerable. All right. Now, I don't necessarily see bully as a bad thing. That's just my personal opinion. It may seem bad at the time, but we live in an era right now where people are being bullied on the internet. I don't really see how being a bully is tough. Like, it's a harsh thing to be. Now, what I don't understand is that people look at a bully or being bullied as a bad thing more than it being something that's being presented to you that's designed to strengthen you. What I mean by that? Well, I have a few instances for you. I'm going to give you a sports analogy first. Chicago Bulls versus Detroit Pistons. Michael Jordan could not get to a championship. Why? Because he kept losing to the Detroit Pistons. And the Detroit Pistons were very violent against him when they played him, especially in the playoffs. They always faced him in the Eastern Finals. And it wasn't until he got past the Detroit Pistons that he became the champion that he became. In other words, if he didn't face the Detroit Pistons and go through all of that, he would have never been able to beat Magic, beat Karl Malone and Stockton, beat GP and them from the Sonics. He would have never been able to do the things that he was able to do if he didn't get past that. The bullies made him step his game up. And that's how I see bullies. Personally for me, I grew up, again, you guys probably already know, I grew up in South Central LA in the 80s and the 90s. I was in my teens in the mid 80s. So again, I had a chance to experience a lot of the bullying, as people call it today, in the city I grew up in, because it was a very violent and hostile environment. You had gangs and drugs everywhere. Everybody tried to bully people on a daily basis. So again, I had to grow up fast. Now, my nature is not that aggressive. If you really get to know me, I'm a nice person. I have soft spot for a lot of things. But growing up in that environment made me to adapt an ego to make me say that I was never going to be bullied again. And for instance, one day, it just snapped in me one day when I was a youngster. It was this young kid. He kept bothering me every day, but I always played with him for some weird reason. And he came over my house one day, and we were playing football in the front yard, and somebody was throwing us passes. We was running lines and catching the ball like young kids do back in the days. They don't do it anymore too much. But we running, playing, catching balls, and I kept beating him and catching the ball. So one time I caught the ball, I beat him, and he got mad, and he pushed me into this big banana tree. And I still have the scars on my elbow right here. I scratched my elbows up right here. I got up and I immediately beat this dude unmercifully until my mother had to run out the house and stop me. And from that day forward, I always said I'm not going to be bullied again. It's not going to happen. Now that bully and those experiences that I accumulated in South Central became an ego that I carried with me for a long time. Almost like Craig had to beat up Debo. When Craig beat up Debo, everybody respected him. But before Craig beat up Debo, Nia Long wouldn't give him no love. The hood wouldn't give him no love. But when he beat up Debo, he got what he thought he deserved. Nia Long, respect from the hood. This even carries over into the black and white issue. African Americans have been bullied by Caucasians for 400 years. We just have yet to get up and fight back. I love my shirt. If you can see, this is why I wore this shirt. I don't ever really wear black on my service, but this is why I wore this shirt. We have yet to get up and fight back. So that's why we keep losing. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope I'm not going over your head. And I forgot to give the disclaimer before I start. So let me give the disclaimer right now. I want to give a disclaimer before I go any further. If you're sensitive to your ego and you're not able to hear what I have to say, you might not want to watch this particular service. I don't want anybody getting mad at me and going to their pot and putting some chicken blood on me and putting my name in their pot because they mad at what Makanju Allah has to say. So they want to put some spell or some witchcraft on me because you can't take what I have to say. So if you can't hear this message, please turn the channel. Keep scrolling. Go somewhere else. But if you're actually ready to heal and get some information on how to heal your ego, because everybody has one. If you've been hurt in life, you have an ego. If you've been through some traumas and things in your life, you have an ego. Trust me, you do. Because that ego is trying to protect you and shield you from experiencing that pain again. You're not born with an ego. You're not born that way. No baby has an ego. Babies come in submissive to what's around them because they don't know. And as we grow and we experience things in life, that ego begins to grow like a virus, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to where it gets out of control. I was just watching an episode of Iyanla Van Zant when she had DMX on there, and that episode is a perfect example. DMX could not hear his son. He couldn't hear Iyanla. He's cussing Iyanla out. He's talking crazy to his son, and he walked away without receiving what he came to get, which is his son. Because why? His ego was in the way. That brother has some serious traumas in his life, and he's not yet to face it. Just because this is what you've always been doing does not make it right. There's some things that I've been doing for a long time, but it does not make it right. And the only thing I would try to justify it with is my ego. So after experiencing these life-changing experiences, we put on a mask, okay? We put on a mask, and that mask is called ego. And you get used to things that are not normal, and you want everybody else around you to get used to those same things. Ego becomes a protective shell, as I said. And why you're doing that? Because you never want to be bullied again. For example, again, I told you, I gave you a disclaimer. So if you're not ready to deal with this information, turn the channel now. I'm warning you. It's about to get deep. Homosexuals, 90% of homosexuals statistically have been victims of some kind of sexual abuse. And they're usually homosexual because of the abuse. And they put themselves in a position now to say, I'll never be abused again. A la this Me Too movement, right? I'll never be abused again. So they turn that way and they beat on them chests as if they're so proud of being homosexual. But that's only a byproduct of the abuse that they've endured. So instead of dealing with the abuse, they want to be on their chest for something else. That's ego at its height. rappers flaunting prosperity to the very people who supports their music. They wear chains. They talk about how you ain't got and I got. But they're only doing this because they come from a society that has flaunted and, as we used to say in LA, flossed on them, saying that you can't have what we have. We can have everything, but you can't. So they inflict that pain, tell that pain through their music, and flaunt that pain in front of those who don't have it, just like they didn't have it. Like, you're inflicting pain on somebody else because you are hurt, and your ego has run amok to where now you have gold teeth, chains everywhere, all the new fashion designers, and none of these people care anything about you. That's called ego, yo. There's parts of hip-hop that I cannot stand because it's so egotistical. I'm from the era where I love the Rakims and the X-Clans and the Tribe Called Quests and the Jungle Brothers, Brand Nubians. I love that part of hip-hop. Common, I love that part of hip-hop where it was just pure. This other stuff I can't get into because it's all ego. Bad relationships. You experience bad relationships because of ego. Because first and foremost, we are what we attract, right? If we got a crazy woman or a crazy man, as we may call it, then we must have some crazy in us because we attracted that person. Meaning that we have not dealt with our own ego. That ego attracted some more ego. Because like any sickness in your body, if you're in the medical field, you know what I'm talking about. Any sickness in your body, it grows because of negative things in the body. So let's say if you have a cancer or something, or some kind of ailment in your body, that cancer is going to be fed by negative things in there. Bad eating habits and alcohol, and those toxic things are going to feed the toxic disease. Good things are going to help fight the disease. That's why they give you the good things to counter the bad things, so you can try to get rid of it and beat the disease, right? In a bad relationship, you have to be that good thing. And then you will attract the good things as far as a relationship goes. One last one I'm gonna give you an example of is young women dressing so provocative these days because of this whole feminist movement. And the feminist movement exists because women have been beat down for centuries. They've been pretty much controlled and told what to do for centuries. And now they're getting some headway. So the feminist movement is like, hey, here's me. I'm butt naked. I can do whatever I want to do, and can't no one tell me anything. That's called ego. Now, we haven't had a chance to see where that's going to go, but I do have an idea where it's going to go. And that's for another subject. No, I lied. I said one last one. Here's the last one. Black on black crime, as they call it, is an ego. We rob, kill, and steal from each other. But we don't rob, kill, and steal from the people who are oppressing you, so-called oppressing you. All right? You don't, when the Rodney King situation popped off, nobody black went to the west side of LA and burnt up west side LA. We burnt our own places down. Nobody went to Simi Valley and burnt down Simi Valley where he got beat down at. Nobody did that. We burnt down our own stuff right here. Why? Because we know better. Because we know that man has already shown us for 400 years that if you mess with them, they gonna do some other things to you. So it's easier to bully the weakness of your own people. It's easier to gangbang against your own people. It's easier to jack, is what we used to call it back in the days. Your own people means steal from your own people, or bully your own people in school. I know you guys may have saw it because I posted it this week. This situation where these young kids gave clothes to this guy who was being bullied in school, and then it even made it to Ellen, and they gave the kids some money for their gesture. I mean, like, that's what's needed. That's that opposite thing, that positive thing that's feeding the negative energy that can help change the world and change things around. That's how we make those moves. Add good things to the bad. But that takes you putting your ego down. And a lot of people are not ready to put their ego down. So, how do we get control of egotistical self-destruction? Number one, stop flaunting your pain, or you will continue to attract it. Number two, debo your ego and check yourself before you wreck yourself. What do I mean by that? Well, here you go. I'm going to give you an Odu now. All right? This Odu is coming from Osa Irete. Osa Irete. Osa Irete. Osa on the right, Irete on the left. All right? Here's what that Odu says. If you are not an honorable person, do not act like an honorable person. If you are not capable of being independent, do not claim to be independent. Anyone who is not big and mighty, do not breathe like someone who is big and mighty. These were Ifa's declaration for Apollo the Toad, who said that he wanted to become the Lord of the river. He was advised to offer Ebo. He refused to comply. He was advised to offer Ebo, and he refused to comply. Now, the story goes like this. The toad planned to become the Lord of the river. He was warned against wanting to be the Lord of the river because he had no strength or grace to be the Lord of the river. Like, how is a toad going to be the Lord of a river when there's crocodiles and big vicious fish and snakes and all kinds of things that will eat him? How could you be Lord of the river? It's kind of egotistical, right? I can do whatever I want. Like, it's egotistical, isn't it? Unfortunately for the toad, he saw himself as the mightiest creature in the river. He decided to install himself against the will of God. He said, I'm going to install myself as the Lord of the river, and he began croaking as a mighty animal. Now, let's keep it real. Toads and frogs make noise and beat on them chests all day. I always wonder, why do they make noise when all the noise is going to do is attract things to them? I don't understand that. Why do you croak when all you're going to do is attract things to know where you are? This attracted the attention of the crocodile and other river creatures to the scene of the noise. In the end, the toad became the meal of the big river creatures. This is an example of the reason why one must not overvalue one's worth and feel that one can do what one is not capable of doing. That's the ego. The ego will make you act like you don't need nobody, will make you act like you got all of this yourself, you are super bad, you are all of this. And it may not be true. More than likely, it's not true. You're only acting this way because you've been hurt. You've been harmed by somebody. You've been harmed by a loved one. You've been harmed in a relationship. Someone hurt you along the way, and now you believe that you have to act this way egotistically. I can raise my hand and say that has been a part of my life also. I am not acting. I always tell y'all, I'm speaking from my experiences. Every time I pick one of these old dudes or a topic of discussion, it comes from my personal experience. This is not just some idea that I want to sound good on. This is how I have come to me being who I am today. All right, so these are things that I have suffered from in my life. I have lost relationships, business opportunities, different things in my life because of ego. I told you I grew up in LA in the 80s. All right, so I carried some of that ego, that macho-ness, that toughness, that what they call on the East Coast roughneck stuff. I carried some of that, and that stuff does not segue into regular life that well. Because most people don't want to be around that type of ego. They can't deal with that. That's good in the streets, but it's not good between the sheets. If you know what I mean. When it's time to get intimate, when it's time to be with, make a business, grow a family, that stuff is not necessarily good. And you have to say, okay, I'm putting my ego down now and become a different person. And that's tough. It takes you to acknowledge it first to be able to do it. And if you don't acknowledge it, it's not going to happen. Now, I want to speak to something that's sensitive to a lot of people. This ego is even a part of Ifa in a lot of ways. And one of the main ways I want to speak on is some of these Babalaos that act like they don't need African Americans and treat us as if we do need y'all. Because without African Americans, African Americans wouldn't have the information of Ifa. There's no way we can get it. But some of these Babalaos are acting as if egotistical. Like, I have all the information and I'm going to hoard it and I'm going to give it to who I want to give it to. Like, that's ego, homie. You are not the author of Ifa. Ifa is working through you. Your job is to give it to those who are ready to receive it. And if someone shows up to your doorstep and ready to receive it, you are not supposed to act like you are the author of Ifa. You are not Ifa. Let's get that 100% straight. If you don't respect Africans over here in America, there's a problem. We're connected. And if you believe in Ifa, it's about nature and the connection between all human beings and life on earth. How could you differentiate that when it comes to Ifa information? I don't understand that. I know this may offend some Babalaos and some people in Ifa. I'm begging you at this moment, please, putting my ego down. Don't put me in your pot. Just ask yourself, is this even possible? Because if you're in Ifa for the right reasons, and it's not because of your ego, then you will want to help African Americans and do all you can. If you understood the plight of African Americans, why would you not want to help African Americans? It's like a case of ego has run amok. We have to clean this mess up. Now, Ifa warns us about this. Ifa warns that we must not engage in self-deceit ever. Engaging in self-deceit leads to error in judgment and the thought that others are not as intelligent, wise, or experienced as one, meaning as you, not wise and experienced or intelligent as you. Like I just said, we may not have Ifa information over here in America without Africans. Why? Because we lost it. And the people who are coming to Ifa right now are trying to get it back. Babalaos, Awos, please don't get in the way of that. Put your ego down and help those who want to come in and get back what was stolen from them. That's called having good character. That's called being on the road to Omoluabi. In my humblest opinion. If we want to rehabilitate ego, our ego diagnosis, we must do the following things. Remember, the goal here is to aspire to be Omoluabi. We need to aspire to be Omoluabi. And I'm going to explain what that is in a minute for those who may not know. Such a person, what's Omoluabi definitionally from Ifa? Such a person is he who is a man. If you're a man, basically, you're a person that the parents of a female will want you to marry their daughter. That's Omoluabi, meaning that you're a good person. You're that good of a person that girl's mother wants you to marry her. And vice versa. If you're a woman, if you're that good of a person, that man's parents want you to be his wife. You know how many characteristics you would have to have? Have y'all seen Bad Boy when that guy showed up to the door to take his daughter on Martin Lawrence's daughter on a date and how they treated him? Like, parents' job is to shield their children from the pains that they had to go through when they enter adulthood and they begin to get a spouse. And if your parents want you to marry, or want someone to marry you, or you to marry their child, that means that you have some awesome characteristics that they want that to happen. That's some Omoluabi stuff for your butt. What is Omoluabi? Let's break that down real quick so you can understand where I'm going. Omoluabi. Let's break it down. Omo means child. Olu means chief or master of Iwa. Again, Olu means chief or master of Iwa. Ewa. Character is Ewa. Ewa means character. B means born. So basically what this translates to mean is a person that is begotten or born to be chief of character, master of character. Omoluabi, master of character. Character meaning good character. Now, how do we get there? How do we rehabilitate our ego? First and foremost, as I said, face off with that trauma. That's why I love to watch Iyanla Vanzant so much, because she makes people face off with their trauma. She makes people deal with what they're going through. And that's a hard thing. Going through counseling and rehabilitation is a very hard thing. I've gone through it myself. It's very hard to look yourself in the mirror and say you're wrong and put that ego down. But you can't heal those things without facing off with that trauma. Because I hear Iyanla say a lot. She says that you have to return to that hurt space. For me, I had to return to that hurt space within the things that happened within my household. Those times I was bullied and I call it banged on. When I was banged on in LA streets and I felt powerless against the situations, those things hurt as a man, and you have to return to those things to be able to deal with them. If you don't return to that space, whatever age you was, I think for me I was about 8 or 9 or something. And for me, those things meant a lot to go back to that space, to be able to look those things in the face and say, you're not going to hurt me anymore. You're not going to destroy another marriage. You're not going to destroy a business opportunity. You're not going to destroy this conversation with somebody that I love. You're not going to do that no more, because I'm holding on to that ego, that pain, that shell that was created from that pain. I'm not going to allow that anymore. That's the only way to begin to heal an ego run amok. And that ego can run amok at any time in your life. I hope I'm making sense to y'all. If I'm making sense, please give me some loves and likes. I feel like I'm just talking right now. Thirdly, be honest about the pain within yourself. Be honest, you guys. He said out of bond. Out of bond. I went to Audubon too. Yeah, me too, bro. I went to Audubon too back in like I left Audubon in 87, 88, 87. But yeah, number 3, be honest about the pain within yourself. Be honest about the pain. Say ouch. Say it hurts. Say it bothers you. Say you want to correct it. Deal with it. Face it. That's a tough thing to do. Ego is amazing, man. Ego is a very tricky thing. It's very tricky. It's very elusive. It's a very tricky thing. And me personally, that's why I think us as African Americans, as I mentioned, the black on black crime thing, I think us as African Americans here, I think that's why, I believe that's why we get fed so many distractions in this country, because the powers that be knows this information, and they know the more they distract you, the less you're going to want to deal with the pain, to heal yourself, to make you become an Omoluabi, to make you master your character. It becomes harder when you have so many distractions from work, children, baby daddies, baby mamas, child support, bills, keeping up with the Joneses, car notes, and all these things. It becomes hard to even think about facing your ego demons. It becomes hard. Sometimes you have to be broken to even think about it. After you have faced it, you guys, practice decency. Practice decency. We should always be practicing decency. But practicing decency is a characteristic of an Omoluabi. Again, if you practice decency, you more than likely will attract decent people around you. Work hard at it. Like, don't give up. Again, working hard is another element of an Omoluabi. Work hard at it, because just because you made a decision to get rid of your ego doesn't mean it's going to drop off. That ego is going to show back up time and time again. Somehow I kind of believe it will never go away. It's kind of like losing a parent or something, or a loved one. You never get over it. You learn to manage it. So when that ego begins to show up, you got to work hard at it. And you got to be diligent and focused to say, I'm not going to allow this ego to take over this situation. Ego, sit your ass down. Sit down, ego. It's like a bad dog or something, right? Sit down, sit. Be still. Like, you got to be able to Debo, punk the ego. Punk them. Bully the ego. Sit down. Do what I say. Hold my belt. Y'all seen Scared Straight? Like, come on, man. All right, work hard at it. And then again, be content with what is yours. Own yours. That goes different ways, but I'll speak a little bit about it. What I mean by that is owning yours. First of all, own your part in the mess, and then be comfortable in what you have. Be comfortable where you are. Don't let your ego make you become a new rapper that wants to go put on gold teeth and big fat gold chains and all these name brands and all this crap and talk bad to people. I don't understand how people go to rap concerts. I really don't understand it. Like, this new rap, I don't understand how people can go to these concerts when somebody's talking about how they don't have something the whole song, calling them out of their name. Like, you know how lost you got to be to listen to that and pay to listen to it? Be content with who you are. Do not let your ego give you wandering eyes looking at somebody else's stuff. Be content where you are. Keep your eyes on your own upon. Worry about what you need to do for you. 7, and the last point I'm going to make is show integrity. Show integrity and selflessness. Like that video I told you about where these kids gave this little boy some clothes. Like, that's integrity. The little boy even admitted that he was laughing at the kid at one point when other kids were bullying him, but he caught himself and he put his ego to the side and said, that's wrong. Integrity stepped in, and then he took a selfless act and gave his kid some clothes. That was dope to me. That showed integrity. That's a little child that's on the road to me to Omoluabi. Like, he's trying to get it. He's trying to master character at that young of an age in high school. And that's kind of unheard of. I thought that was so awesome. With all of this, I believe in my heart, you may not always achieve it 100%, but as long as you're striving towards it, you will have the array in life that you are praying for all the time. If you strive to practice decency, be honest, work hard, be content with what's yours, and show integrity and selflessness, array of life will be yours, and ego cannot survive. Diseases cannot survive in the body, in an alkaline body, right? We learned that from all the herbalists that we've ever heard, right? An alkaline body will automatically fight off diseases. If we have our minds alkaline, The disease of an ego cannot exist. It has to go away and find a new host. If you do that, all array of life is yours. Trust me. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come in the next hour. It may take weeks, months, even years to even hit your front doorstep and knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here. It's all the array is yours. You earned it now. It's not going to happen right away. One thing I know about Ifa is if you're not patient, it ain't going to work. You have to be patient. You have to be diligent. You have to still, while you're being patient and going through it and fighting to be Omoluabi, patience is the number one recipe to get into it. Sorry, it is what it is. But once you, along the way, as long as you practice patience, Ire will be yours. Ire of Ayeku, a long, blessed life. Aj, which everybody prays for. Money, wealth, prosperity, good spouses, good children, and victory. Victory over all the things that have caused the ego in the first place. We got to go through it. To me, bullies are like haters. They say welcome your haters, right? Because your haters make you who you are. Without a hater, you might not even know you're that good. Without a bully, you may not know how strong you are. So, again, I'm not condoning these bullies. I'm not condoning it by a long shot. Let me say that up front before I end this. I'm not condoning being bullied or the bulliers. I'm not condoning it at all. But what I am saying is that we need to look at it for what it could do for us. Again, Michael Jordan couldn't win that championship without going through Dennis Rodman. And then Dennis Rodman came and joined the squad and won with him. Like, look how it works. Look how it works. I would have never gotten up and fought back and became the strong person that I am if I didn't whoop that little boy's butt. I'm not condoning violence by a long shot. I'm not condoning violence at all. But what I'm saying is at some point you got to stand up. And standing up sometimes means sitting down and bowing down and recognizing that you have been hurt. You don't want to be egotistical anymore and you want things to change. And you're ready to do something different. You are ready to be on the road to Omoluabi, which we all should be. Because if everybody was aspiring to be that, this world would be a better place. You can get a copy of this Omoluabi book if you would like to. Go to ifaworks.org. Go to ifaworks.org and get a copy of Chief Popola's book called Omoluabi. It has a lot of good stuff in it. Majority of the things that I do in my Good Morning Ifa comes out of that book. Trust me, you love this book. If you're studying Ifa, if you're a devotee, a real, true, a capo of Ifa, you need that book in your life. Go to ifaworks.org and order your books. He has a bunch of other books there too, but that's almost to me like the Bible that I go by when I'm studying and when I'm going through stuff, and I get old dudes and I'm going through stuff and I relate it through that book a lot of the time. So again, I appreciate you guys for watching. That is the end of this particular broadcast of Good Morning Ifa. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please share it. Give it a bunch of likes, hearts, and loves. Please go to the Facebook page and like it. I'm trying to get up to 500. So once I get to 500, I can start doing the shows over there. Again, subscribe to the YouTube page also. And if you want to support a brother, this is a lot of work. If you want to support a brother, please go order a t-shirt, a Good Morning Ifa t-shirt at least from the website. Support a brother. Let me know you really appreciate the work that I'm putting in, because it's a lot of work that goes into this. The site is working. What site are you talking about? I'm not sure what site you're talking about. Are you talking about the Ifa Works site? Thanks, Charles, man. I appreciate that, bro. I really do appreciate that. Appreciate that, Charles. That's dope. I appreciate you, man. I think if anybody watch me, I'm the same way, man. My morning is how my day start. Well, the site for the shirts and stuff is indigenousrhythms.com. But the EFA Works site, no, it's EFA Works. EFA WORKS.org. EFA WORKS.org. It's up. I was just on it this morning. But just type in EFA Works on Google and you'll see it. All right, just type in EFA Works on Google and you'll figure out the page. It'll pop up. It may be .com. I may be saying it wrong. Forgive me. But if you want to order the shirts, the shorts are made by order only. I didn't stockpile the shirts because I didn't want to sit on a bunch of shirts that I have to pay for up front and people not ordering them. But if you want to support, I will get them made and send them out to you, almost tailor-made style. But if you want to support us, please, you guys, go to indigenousrhythms.com, order your t-shirts. But at best case scenario, get your ticket to October 27th. It's free. If you love the message now, you're gonna love it when we come do it live, and then you can talk to us. You can ask questions. It's gonna be dope. Y'all gonna love it, man. Order your ticket. Go to indigenousrhythms.com. Order your tickets. Book your seats, and let's have fun October 27th. Again, I appreciate y'all for listening. It's been fun. If you didn't catch this whole video, you might want to rewind it when I post it. And please remember, go to the Good Morning E5 page. Like it. I'm trying to get us up to 500. Hopefully we can get there this week. And then we can start doing the sermons through there. All right? Call me later, Danielle. I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a blessed Sunday. I got to go teach a California Ticket Master class now. I'm always teaching, right? That's what I do. I'm going to go teach my California Ticket Master class and teach a few people how to fight their tickets. Again, if you have ticket issues, you know where to go. CATicketmasters.com. If you have any ticket issues, driver license issues, traffic ticket issues, you want to fight, you want to enroll your child for our rights awareness workshop, you may have seen that flyer circulating on Facebook and Instagram. You know what it is. We're trying to put together a date where we're going to do a live rights awareness workshop too. And we're going to teach these kids how to defend themselves on the streets and in the court, and give them a chance to know their rights before the lights. All right? Again, doing my part. Do yours. I am Makanju Allah. Thank you guys for listening. Peace. Have a great week. And remember, I think tomorrow is Oshay Ifa. Get on your knees and give Ifa something for this week coming up and get some Ire in your life. Ashe. Peace.